Good morning, everyone. We are continuing on the topic of expires. We are going to continue to master those expires and maximize the opportunities that are basically in front of us. So let's go ahead and continue to pick up with where we left off. Basically, there's a lot of opportunities out there with expireds. As you know, the market is still somewhat stagnant. It's not like bad, but it's also definitely not taking off, but it is good enough for the expired market. And why is that? Well, the reason that is just simply because of the fact that there's a lot of stagnation that has taken place in the last basically year. And those properties are coming off market. And as they come off of the market, that is where we get the opportunity to capitalize. So let's go through a quick little recap from last week. But before I do, I want to, of course, welcome those of you that are joining us over on Facebook, those of you that are joining us, of course, over on Instagram, over on YouTube, and of course, over on TikTok. I do want to just take a minute to acknowledge and recognize that if you guys do have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in. We will get them addressed. And for that matter, I would encourage you to come join us over on Zoom, as it'll give us the opportunity to better interact. What's the purpose of this? We're going to work on skills. There's three primary things as a coach that I've looked at for the last basically 15 years. And the three things that is really important for an agent, number one, is how they manage their time. Managing their time is absolutely vital, okay? Because the better you are in terms of managing the time, the more success you are. Number two is mindset, and that's going to encompass all of your goals, all of the so on and so forth that comes behind the mindset. And then last but not least, number three, which in my opinion is probably one of the most important, that's skills. That's what we're going to be investing time in today, is going to be exactly on that topic. Okay. So Andrew, if you could do me a favor, if you can get any and all of those questions over to Lizette, she'll go ahead and get those questions addressed. We'll go ahead and get them taken care of. But before I begin, is there any questions that I can answer now? Nope. All right, let's go ahead and get moving. Let's go ahead and move forward. So as far as expires are concerned, last week we were talking about your competition. As far as your competition is concerned, we are looking at competing with 2 to 5 realtors. As far as those 2 to 5 realtors, we are looking at between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m. Between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m., we are competing with 2 to 5 realtors on average. Now, as far as between the hours of 8 and 9, that drastically goes up to as many as 25 to 50 realtors. Between the hours of 9 and 10, that now goes up even further to 40 to 75 realtors. Okay, so 40 to 75 realtors. And then Andrew, until Lizette jumps on, feel free to go ahead and send me those questions, and we'll go ahead and get those addressed. So between the hours of 9 and 10, why am I sharing this with you? Because the one thing you necessarily can control is going to be the time that you start. Okay, the time that you start is going to be important, because some of you that are going after this particular source and you're calling them a little bit later, well, unfortunately, that resistance that you get sometimes, and most of the time, has to do with not so much your skill. Yes, it does. But a larger percentage of it has to do with the time you're calling them. So if you're dialing these expireds, and you're doing that at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, there's a lot of resistance. Okay, there's a lot of resistance in that window. We also talked about last week, which is basically calling them 5 times throughout the day. What does that look like? Okay, so we get a list. Okay, anybody on here calling expires or has been calling expires that's on the Zoom? If you have, just type in how many expires you got yesterday and or today. I'm just curious to know. But as far as that is concerned, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, of course, get those numbers. And as you get those numbers, you're going to pull up. And as they pull up, if there is, for example, 6 or 7 of them that show up, you're going to get basically about 3 phone numbers on average. Sometimes it'll be 6, sometimes it'll be 7, sometimes it'll be 1 or 2, but it's going to be on average about 3. Okay, about 3 on average. So when you get these phone numbers, okay, you're going to go ahead and basically call all 3 of the phone numbers. So in other words, there's 6 properties. Let's just round it up to 10 properties. So you have 10 properties. Each property has 3 phone numbers. Property A, number 1, number 2, number 3. Then property B, phone number 4, number 5, number 6. See what I'm getting at? And you're going to go down the entire list. You're going to go through call round number 1. You're going to go through and call round number 2. And you go through and call round number 3. So you're going to go through the entire list once. You're going to go over the second time, start back at the top, go through the entire list again. You can eliminate, of course, the people that you've spoken with and or, of course, the wrong numbers. And then when you're done with that second round all the way through, you're now going to go very back to the top and then call again that third round. You're going to go through that entire list. Okay, so you're going to call 3 rounds. Then you're going to move on to other sources. You're going to move on to for sale by owners. You're going to move over to basically some database, maybe some lead follow-up, some just listed, open house calls, maybe following up on some online leads, Zillow leads, social media leads, whatever you're going after. And you just continue to go through, make your contact. This is a contact sport. And just before you're about to grab your sandwich, your salad for lunch and say, man, I'm hungry, I'm ready to take a break, don't take your break yet. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to call that fourth round. Okay. And this is important because calling that fourth round, now you're going to just basically just see what comes of it. And in most cases, for example, let's take a look. So Christopher Lyon, Chris Lyon. Hey, thanks for joining us, by the way, Chris. Over on YouTube said he got 15. I don't know if that was yesterday or today. It doesn't matter. But for Chris, that very first time, that very first round, let's do the math for Chris. Basically, 3 numbers per phone, 15 properties. That's about 45 to 50 numbers that he's going to call. It's about 1 minute per number. So that very first round for Chris is probably going to take him about 40, 45, maybe 50 minutes. Then from that, again, 45 numbers, he's probably going to eliminate 15 or 20 of them because either he got a hold of them, number is no longer in service, called an agent, whatever it is, whatever those things are. Then he's going to go to round number 2, and that list of 45 phone numbers is probably going to turn into about 30, 32, 35 around there. So that second round is going to take him another 30 minutes. So now Chris, by the time he's done with that second round, it's probably about 9:15, maybe 9:20. Well, we're not done yet. Chris is going to go back and do it a third time. And in that third time, he probably eliminated 2, 3, 5 of those. So now he's got about 20, 25, maybe 30 left, which is going to be another 30 minutes. So Chris is not going to be done with those 3 rounds until probably 9:30, 9:45. I know this clockwork, been there, done that. If you're not doing that and you're not finishing in that efficiency of a time, you have to look at your systems. You have to look at your systems because a large percentage of you worked with coaching clients in the past is like, coach, that's not happening. It's taking me like, I don't know, like an hour to go through all of this entire list once. The heck, how in the world are you going taking an hour or 2 hours to go through the entire list? And in that, look and find out what's happening. Oh, property 123 expired. Okay, let me do the research. Okay, 23 Main Street. Okay, so it's a 3-bedroom, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet. It was on the market for 172 days. Okay, well, let's see. The owner's name is Bob. The wife's name is Mary. Okay, yeah, it's a good looking house. Let me look at the pictures. And then you're investing 3, 4, 5. Well, I don't say investing, wasting. You're wasting 3, 4, 5 minutes by doing that. It's not the approach you want to take. You're just going to go through, you're going to smile, and you're going to dial. That's it. Okay, that's what you're going to work on. All right. Any other questions? Andrew, we got Lizette on here, so if you can go ahead and send those questions over. Lizette, is there any questions that we have?
Not that I see on my end.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All right. Any questions that we have on here on Zoom that anybody wants to address? All right. The other point, going back to us with what I talked about, is the identifying and creating 2 focal points. 2 focal points. And the 2 different focal points that we want to look at is number 1 is creating your top 3 zip codes. Your top 3 zip codes. And in your top 3 zip codes, you want to create that focal point. Okay, Chris, I see you jumped on here. You mind actually participating? And if not, it's cool. You might be driving, you might be in a position where you're on your way and you can't talk. But if you can, great, I'd appreciate that. Now, of the 15, what Chris would basically do is he would look at, and of the 15 properties, there could be maybe 2 or 3 that fell in his top 3 zip codes. What I would want Chris to do, because again, I don't want to be more than 10, at least initially. Okay, so it's good that he's got 15. But let's say he had only 1 or 2 in the top 3 zip codes. I'd say, okay, Chris, what about your top 3 cities? Ooh, top 3 cities right there. I got 6 of them. Okay, so now I got 6 of them. Now of those 6, what I'm gonna, Chris, you on?
Yeah,
Hey, how are you doing?
yeah. Can you hear me? Good, man.
Yep,
How you?
good, man. It's good to have you on. Thank you for participating. So let me go
Absolutely.
back. I know that this is probably, I don't know if you follow this or don't follow it, but if we were to identify your top 3 zip codes, can you think of them off the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so of the 15, I don't expect you to remember 100% of it, but of the 15, how many of those 15 would fall in your top 3 zip codes?
Maybe one or two.
Okay, cool. Now it's a little bit different, and it could everybody's a little bit services different markets, but your top 3 cities, would that be different from your top 3 zip codes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
Orlando,
now top 3 cities of the 15, how many of those would fall into those your those top 3 cities?
at least eight.
There we
At
go.
least
Perfect.
eight.
So I'm coaching Chris, and I'm going to say, here's what I want you to do, Chris. So what I want Chris to do is forget about the other 7. There's 15. I want Chris to call those first 8. Okay. I want you to go through. You're going to go call those first 8, and you're going to go through round 1, round 2, round 3. You're going to go through like that. So now the 8, there's 3 numbers per. That's about 20, 25, maybe 30 numbers. So now what we did is we expedited it. So instead of going through after all 15 of them, we're going to only call those 8. And of those 8, now we're talking about calling 25 available numbers. That's going to take Chris probably about 25, maybe 30 minutes. And in that first round, there's a very good likelihood, Chris, you're probably going to make about 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 contacts.
That's exactly what happened.
Yep. So in that, what's going to happen as well is that there's going to be a wrong number. There's going to be maybe an agent call, so on and so forth. So now that list of 25 numbers is going to go down to about 15. So now you're going to call that second round. And in that second round, you're probably going to eliminate another 2, 3, or 4. So now that took you 15 minutes. 30 plus 15 is now 45. So now in that third round, be very efficient. And that's probably going to be about 10 minutes because maybe one person will pick up, if that. So now
Mhm.
Chris has gone after the 3 rounds of those 8. What do I want Chris to do now? Go after the next 7. And you're going to just lump them on top, and you're going to go through now, call all of those 7. You're going to do exactly with what we just did. No, thank you, Chris, for participating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why am I asking of Chris to do this? Because here's what I want to do. So in the example that I've used in the past for myself, being in Ranch Cucamonga, and I'm calling Ranch Cucamonga. If I go this way, which is going towards LA, that's going to be west. And if I go, even 15, 20 minutes, I'm now servicing Upland. I'm talking about Claremont. I'm talking about maybe in Walnut, Diamond Bar, Chino Hills. That's money. If I go the other way, this way, that's San Bernardino. Okay, which not that I don't service it, but Fontana, cool. Rialto, maybe. Colton, I don't know. San Bernardino, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. So my point is that I'm probably going to lean a little bit more this way. I'm going to be more efficient. So instead of calling San Bernardino, Colton, Rialto, San Bernardino, Colton, ooh, Claremont, Fontana, Rialto, Colton, ooh, Upland. I'm going to focus on this first. Hopefully that makes sense because what that's going to allow me the opportunity to do is be able to go after it faster and more efficient after the ones that I do want. I'm not saying I won't take a listing in San Bernardino. I'll take San Bernardino all day, every day. But don't get me wrong, I'd rather take a listing in Claremont that's going to be a 1.5, 1.6 million versus a San Bernardino at 400,000. I'm hoping that makes sense for you guys. Okay. So, any other questions? Anything else that we can address? All
I
right.
think we just have a clarifying question by Cedric. So
Okay.
just asking if calling the same expired 4 times.
100%.
Okay.
So I literally just broke it down a couple of different times. So you're going to take in Chris's example, I over broke it down, but let's simplify it. You got 10 properties. You're going to go through, you're going to call all 10 of those properties one round. When you're done with it, go back to the top, call it a second round. When you're done with it, go back and call it a third round. You're going to move on to other sources after your third round. I don't care what you go after. You keep calling, dialing, smiling, and dialing, and smiling, and dialing. Okay, that's what we're doing. But just before you're about to grab your sandwich, just before you're about to grab your salad, just before you're about to go to lunch, you're going to call that fourth round. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And in closing, when do we call that fifth round? You're going to call at, not before, at or after 5 o'clock. Okay, at or after 5 o'clock. Okay, so hopefully that answers the question. Let's see, Sandy's asking, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So we're over on Facebook. How do you get those numbers? So Sandy, thank you for the question. How do we get these numbers? There's so many different service providers. There's RedX, there's Mojo, there's Arch Dialer, there's all of these other Tom, Dick, and Harry of companies. They're all great. They all have some sort of value to it. So I don't want to knock any one of them down, but I do want to highlight the one that I'm most comfortable with, and that's Vulcan. Okay, if you guys want, you just simply go to my Instagram, sorry, not my Instagram, my website, and all my handles are the same. Go to my website, scroll to the very bottom, therobertvillanueva.com, and you'll get a discount code. That's on Vulcan. Okay, so use the discount code, and you'll save a couple of bucks by doing that, and that's how you get those numbers. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and get into the role play. That's the whole purpose of this. So let me go ahead and share script. And if you have any questions, just jump in and we'll get those questions addressed. Now,
Good question.
go for it.
So as we essentially try to target or prioritize the better zip codes, which are going to be more higher end homes, more than likely, more luxury. Is there any change to the script, or is there a strategy for more luxury types sellers?
Well, not necessarily. It's not, I don't want to misinterpret with what I said, but I appreciate the question, Chris. So in this, as an example, more often than not, I would take more listings in Fontana than I would in Claremont. And on average, the Fontana properties, I would say as an example, Fontana was probably averaging about 650, where Claremont was averaging about 1.2, 1.3 million. But I do volume in Fontana. So I don't want to misinterpret. I'm just saying, what is your focal point? But to answer now your question, though, is that I don't want you changing the script. It doesn't matter if it's a $5 million listing or it's a $50,000 listing. It is the exact same conversation. Okay, but thank you for the question. I really appreciate that.
Got it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yes, sir. All right, so there's two scripts, and I'm just going to go through very, very briefly because I need to get you guys role playing, and that is what we want to make sure that we do accomplish that. Now, on the first script, very typical, very traditional, expired script. That's today only, not yesterday, not the day before, not the day before that, or anything before that. Just today. Do not bog down your system with yesterday's. Why? Because think about it. Your competition, 2 to 5, 40 to 75, 50 to whatever, 100, depending on your market. By the time it's the end of the day, they've gotten at least 100 calls. Well, the next day, they probably have gotten 150, maybe 200 calls. How do you think they're going to feel the next day, or let alone 2 days later? Okay, so I'm going to encourage you, call with expireds, brand new expireds, only today. But there is a second script. And in the second script, which I wanted to just touch on, is the old expired script. What is an old expired? I consider an old expired to be 90 plus days. So there's this this window, okay, that I don't really like to mess with too much. There's a mastery out there, which I can share with you guys at a later time. There's a version that's going to kind of contradict, but I want to keep it simple for my audience. Now, between day 2, so yesterday's, and all the way through day 90, that's purgatory. Okay, and in that purgatory, I don't want to mess around with calling those people because they're annoyed, they're agitated, they're frustrated, they're just like, dude, I'm done, stop. But once it gets to the other side of 90 days, they've kind of eased up a little bit. They've reconsidered their position. They are now in the, you know what, I really think that we should consider it. We're now in February. Yes, we came off market just after Thanksgiving. I don't know, babe, what do you think? Should we start considering it? I mean, we've seen some really nice houses. As a matter of fact, I want to go take a look at that one community, blah, blah, blah. So on the other side of 90 days, that's old expireds. 90 days, 120 days, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. You can go back as far as you want. What's the difference in the script? It's only the opening. And in the opening, with where it basically breaks down, is the hi, Lizette. My name is Robert. I'm a local realtor. I'm sure you've gotten tons of calls by now regarding your property. I was simply calling to see, and again, you just go back into the rest of the script. So again, I'm sure you've gotten tons of calls by now regarding your property. Obvious. I was calling to simply see when are you planning on putting your property back on the market. That's it. Versus the opening script on the expired, brand new. Hi, Lizette. Yeah. My name is Robert. I'm a local realtor with Blank Blank Realty. The reason I'm calling you is because I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. Yeah, we've gotten tons of them. I was simply calling to see when are you planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold. We're not. Whatever. My point is that this is the only thing you're changing between the new and the old. Okay. So let's go through here. Let's give it a quick little example. So let's take a look. Who wants to volunteer?
I'll give it a shot.
All right. So what I want you to work on is just the opening. Okay, just the opening. So whenever you're ready.
I guess ring ring. Hi, Robert.
Yeah, who's this?
My name is Chris. I'm a local realtor with virtual properties. The reason I'm calling you, Robert, is I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. I was just simply calling to see when you're planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold.
Yeah, we're not. We're really just going to take it off the market.
And when, okay, I could understand that. Uh, just curious, where were you thinking of going?
Okay, good. So you see the little bit of the stumbleness?
Right.
That's where we get cut off. So let's role reverse. I'll be the agent. You put me on the spot. Okay. What I want you to do though, Chris, is I want you to be a little bit, you did a good job in pace, but the problem though is that it's very flat.
Okay.
Okay. What I want you to do is this. You want to add energy and you want to create emphasis. Ring ring.
Hello?
Hello, Chris.
Yes.
Chris, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor here with Blank Blank Realty. The reason I'm calling you is I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. Chris, I was simply calling to see when are you planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold?
Well, we took it off the market because obviously it didn't sell. We're gonna think about what we're gonna do. We might do some repairs and then potentially put it back, but we don't have an exact time frame yet.
Understood. So you're basically going to take it off the market. You're going to do some repairs. You're going to reposition yourself, but you're going to come back on the market.
At some point, but we haven't decided. I have to talk with my wife. We haven't decided on the timing yet.
Yeah, no, not a problem. As far as when you do sell your home, where are you guys going to next? We'll stop right there.
Okay.
You see what I'm getting at?
Right, right.
Okay. So all I want you to do is keep the exact same pace, but I want you to have peaks and I want you to have valleys. And the way you create those peaks is a little bit of the height and volume and a little bit with the pause.
Okay.
Okay. And that's basically what the dot, dot, dot means. That means pause for just a half second. So
Right.
from the top, let's go over it again.
Hi, Robert.
Yeah.
Robert, my name is Chris. I'm a local realtor with virtual properties. The reason I'm calling you is I'm sure you received several calls by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing.
Yeah.
I was simply calling to see when you're planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold.
We're not.
Okay. Just curious. Where are you planning to go next? Just curious.
All right. Very good job. I appreciate that. That was way better. Okay. So in that, you got to expect the only thing on this, Chris, that I want you to take different from the first critique is in that first one, we changed the pace to the second one, which was really good.
Okay.
However, 9 times out of 10, the very first question, what is the likely response we're going to get? Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative?
Most likely negative.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be negative. So when they give us that, don't be surprised. Okay, we're not. We're going to take it off the market. Stop calling me. You're going to repeat and you're going to affirm. I don't care what it is. Stop calling me. Chris, I get it. I understand you want these calls to stop. I am curious, though, before I let you go, when you do sell this home, where are you guys moving to next? It doesn't matter. I get that. But as far as time frame is concerned, how soon were you wanting to get to your next place? Why are you asking me all these questions? Well, Chris, I hear the frustration in your voice, and I understand with where you're coming from, but I am curious, is your frustration with the realtors that are calling you this morning or that your home did not sell? I mean, it's kind of everything. Well, Chris, let me ask you this question. Just if we could get you a price very close to the price that you were asking, would you reconsider putting your home back on the market so we can get you to your next place? Well, I mean, do you even have a buyer? I don't know. I haven't actually seen your home. When should I come by? Okay. And then I think, Chris, you had it, sorry, Lyons, you had this question the other day too. I think you did. I didn't even get a chance to answer that question.
Which one was that, man? I'm sorry.
Cool. So in that's the approach that I want you guys to take. So Chris Alexander, thank you for participating. All right. So,
Thank you.
all right. So any other volunteers? Who do we got next?
I can volunteer.
There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So here we go. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, is that Robert?
Yeah. Who's this?
Robert, my name is Ann. I'm a local realtor with ABC.
Okay.
The reason I'm calling you is that I'm sure you received tons of call by now regarding your home coming up as an expired listing. I was simply calling to see when are you planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold.
Very good job. I love that, Ann. Congratulations, man. You're growing. So I love that. What I want to do is I want to be able to give somebody else the opportunity. The only critique that I really have is really just keep it up. I mean, just continue at that pace. You were on point. I love the fact that you just jumped right in. I love the fact that you were in a position where you did mirror and match. I can tell you're working on this, Ann. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that and congratulate you. I don't want to give you too much critique. I want to give somebody else the opportunity. And or Lizette, do we have any questions? Anything else that we need to address?
No questions at the moment.
Okay, cool. So let's just keep moving forward. Let's get somebody else to give it a go. Who else wants to give it a go? I just want to work on the opening. Come on, Betty, Cedric, Chanel, Lyons.
Yeah,
Maria.
let's do it. It's on. I'll do it.
All right, here we go. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Robert.
Who's this?
My name is Christopher. I'm a local realtor over here in Orlando. And the reason for calling, Robert, is I'm sure you've realized by now, several calls, that your home come up on the MLS as an expired listing. I'm simply calling to see, when do you plan on hiring the right agent to get your home sold?
Yeah, I don't know if we are.
Oh, you don't know if you are? That's totally fine. Understandable. It's a big decision. If you guys did sell it, where are you guys going to be moving to next?
So here's what I want you to do right there. So very good job in regards to the opening. That was really, really good. But in the no, we're not, I want you to have some empathy.
Okay.
So let's role reverse. Let me show you with what I mean. So
Sure.
Chris, when are you planning to interview the right agent to get your home sold?
Yeah, we're not.
Oh, you're not. I'm sorry to hear about that. Now, when you do sell this home, where were you guys planning on moving to next?
Chicago.
Chicago. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
getting at?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. Because what that does is it diffuses it. It's no longer bam, 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 bam. Now it's kind of like bam. Whoa, hold on. I'm not here to like fight. I just want to hear you out. What's going on?
Is this something you would put like a pattern interrupt on, where they just kind of
100%.
takes away? Yeah. And
Yeah.
what would that look like other than the empathy side of it?
It could be a little bit of the thinking process. Let me make sure the audience understands, because Chris is a little bit more mastered than some of the things that I've shared with the audience. A pattern interrupt can show up in a couple of different ways. It could be a word, it could be an extended pause. So in that, I'm going to exaggerate on with what Chris is asking, but I am going to show you to answer your question, Chris. So here we go. So when are you planning to hire the right agent to get your home sold?
Yeah, we're not.
Oh man. You're not. I exaggerated.
Mhm.
Oh, man, you're not. Okay. And what that basically does is Chris is like, okay, like, what does that have to do with you? Right. But what it does is it gets Chris to kind of lower his guard a little bit versus us going to the defense and then boom, boom, boom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It really is just simply the pattern interrupt is just nothing more than either a pause, a response, kind of like with what I just did, or man, that sucks. But let me ask you, when you sell this home, you guys had a plan to go somewhere. Where are you guys going to next? And very empathetic like that. So thank you, Chris, for participating.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Lizette, anything else in closing?
No, I just think that with the expireds, I mean, just from our last team meeting or from yesterday, there's just a huge opportunity with expired listings this year, just in January alone. But yeah, it's great to hear all these tips that you've gained.
Yeah, like I said, this is the ripest time. As I've said before, two times ago when we were working with expires, I was like, yeah, I know it doesn't really quite make sense because there wasn't a lot of expires a year ago. And I said last time, hey, by the time we get to the next time, I guarantee you this is going to be ripe. It's going to be hot and heavy. And this is that time. So let me take a minute to extend it to everyone an invitation. LA, OC, IE. I'm going to be coming out to Rancho Cucamonga next Thursday. I'm going to be doing my very first in-person event. Okay, that is MIT Millionaires in Training. What is it? It's called the Foundation. There's 4 different levels we're going to go over, but we're going to go over only the first level, and that's what I call is the bronze level. And the bronze level, we're going to go over in regards to how to handle buyers, how to handle objections, how to negotiate, how to put yourself in a position where you can master your database. We're going to go over all of those things. You can get more information either on Instagram. Okay, if you're not friends, I also want to grow my Eventbrite because that's where we're posting all of the events. We can send you the Eventbrite. And then Andrew, just as a reminder, we got to get that Eventbrite on the website, okay, because it's not on there. But if you guys want more information, the best thing to do is just send me a DM via Instagram. That's going to be the best place to do it for now. Thank you for being here. Go take a listing or 5, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.